wanted. I gave them the drill, they said they drip, I got them on. I got them the body, I had the one, so I'm too times. Taking the drugs, I'm gonna be up until the morning. The bitch is calling, so listen, you gon' own it. I'm in the club, I been following up performing. You can't just keep me in the lock, bitches, stop the low, cute.
Leonard wears the
I know they hating on me, but I don't be coming. Whenever I tell her to come, she come. Whenever it's smoke, we ain't burning. Drip too hard, don't stand too close. You gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all this shit. Where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she can straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie get made. Drip too hard, don't stand too close. You gon' fuck off this way, doing all this show. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she can straight. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie get made.
Alright guys, in this video, I'm gonna answer what's the Colts' biggest need. And so looking at what people thought, offensively, looking at what people thought, you know, Colts already have the best offensive line in the NFL, passing-wise. Fewest amount of sacks allowed all season. Colts 18, Saints 20, Patriots 21, Steelers 24, and Chiefs 26. Alright, so Colts offensive line already set. Colts, they got a Hall of Fame offensive line coach to come out of retirement because he knows Colts are gonna be something great. Howard Mudd came out of retirement just for the Indianapolis Colts. He was a Hall of Fame offensive line coach, and Colts right now debatably, they do have the best offensive line passing wise. Rushing wise, we'll have to wait to see next year. But I think they're a top 5 rushing offensive line. Because Quentin Nelson, he can pass, he can pass block and run block. If you guys see his highlights, he's nasty. He takes people down. He is basically J.J. Watt, but offensive lineman form. And last year, Colts had the best draft last year, rated by Pro Football Focus and by NFL. #1 draft. Browns coming in like second, I believe. So what makes people think the Colts are not going to be as good as they did last year? They have Hall of Famers. They got a Hall of Fame coach to come back. They have all their players back except for one person, a offensive guard, which did not even start. They have Justin Houston back. Really good. He's going to be really good for this defensive line. Him and Jabal Sheard together. That's going to be a scary defensive line. And then you got Devin Funchess, who's a slot receiver. He's okay. And then you got Eric Ebron, one of the league's best tight ends. You got Marlon Mack, which this is what people say is the Colts' weakness offensively. Marlon Mack. But if you look at Marlon Mack's game-by-game stats, you will see he's not what people say he is. So last season he had 195 carries, 908 yards, 4.7 average per like rush, pretty good. 9 touchdowns. And you look at the Colts' first game against Cincinnati. Marlon Mack did not play that game, and then he came back to Washington. Got 10 attempts, 34 yards, and averaged 3.4 yards a game. And rushed for 2 touchdowns. And then, as you can see, Marlon Mack just missed 3 games afterwards. And those 3 games, Colts were on a losing streak. They lost against Philadelphia 16-20. They lost against Houston 34-37. And then they lost to New England 24-38. And then Marlon Mack came back. He got 12 attempts, 89 yards, and 0 touchdowns. Still, breakout. He came from 10 attempts to 34 yards, 12 attempts, 89 yards. And then, after that game, everything changed for Marlon Mack and the Colts. They had a breakout game. Breakout. You look against the blowout win the Buffalo. 37-35. 19 attempts, 126 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then you go down to the Oakland Raiders, where Colts had another blowout win. 25 attempts, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's good. And then you go back to their barely win against Jacksonville, and 12 attempts, 29 yards. Guys, I was personally at that game in person, so I can tell you what happened. That game, Eric Ebron blew it up. 3 receiving touchdowns. That's when Eric Ebron had a breakout season for Indianapolis. That's when people knew he was a top 5 tight end. Personally, I think he is the second best tight end. I think the tight end goes Travis Kelce, Eric Ebron, and then the 49ers tight end, I forget his name. And then let's go to their win against the Tennessee Titans. Their blowout win against the Tennessee Titans. He rushed 12 times, 29 yards, and 0 touchdown. I mean, what? No, that was the Jacksonville game. I messed up. 16 attempts, 61 yards, and 1 touchdown. Another breakout game. Then against Miami, he rushed 15 times for 85 yards. And, okay, my iPad's about to turn off. And 0 touchdowns. And then you go to the Jacksonville game. None of the Colts were playing well that game. And, yeah, you can see his stats. And then you go to the barely win against Houston. 14 yards, 33 touchdowns. And then you go to a blowout win, shut out against the Dallas Cowboys. Rushed for 27 times, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. A lot of people said Ezekiel Elliott's going to easily outrun him. Ezekiel Elliott didn't even get close to 100 yards, by the way. Colts have the best run defense in the NFL. They haven't even allowed a 100-yard rusher. That's all I got to say last year. And then you go to their win against the New York Giants by 1 point. He got the ball 12 times, rushed for 34 yards, and 1 touchdown. Yeah, he did kind of fall off against the Dallas Cowboys, but Marlon Mack is Marlon Mack. And then you go to his game against Tennessee, which is the game that got Colts into the playoffs, where he rushed 25 times, 119 yards, and 1 touchdown, guys. So people say running back's the biggest need for Marlon Mack. In my opinion, no, it's not. Marlon Mack's 23 years old. He still is not even in his primes yet. Marlon Mack is that number one running back people look for. Let that sink in. Alright, sorry guys, my voice is kind of froggy today because I'm getting a little sick. And then, so you guys might be like, okay, so what is the biggest need for Indianapolis offensive-wise? Because it's clearly not quarterback. Because Inge looks a top 3 quarterback. He is the top 3. He's the number 1 3 quarterback in the NFL. Colts have the best passing offensive line. Colts have a top 5 tight ends. Colts have a top 5 receiver in T.Y. Hilton. And Colts have a good running back in Marlon Mack. Did I forget anything? I don't think I forgot anything. But my need is, the thing I think for Indianapolis is another wide receiver. You guys might be like, what? As T.Y. Hilton is just gonna reach his 30, age 30, and he still can play. He played last year half injured and got over 100 and got around 150 yards in one game with a leg injury. T.Y. Hilton can suck injuries up. He's not one of those pathetic receivers like Odell Beckham Jr. and Antonio Brown that have to sit out because they got their toe hurts a little bit. T.Y. Hilton is an actual man when it comes to football. He's not like OBJ. Like I said, OBJ is just a crybaby. He's gonna be crying on the Browns. That's all I gotta say. It's It's gonna be a bad season for the Browns. I'll make another video on that. But the Browns are overrated, because the Browns are definitely overrated. But I do think the Browns though are gonna win the division, but not a Super Bowl. Browns are not Super Bowl ready right now. But let's get back into it. So you guys might be like, what? Because Colts just got a good receiver in Devin Funchess. But the thing is, Devin Funchess signed a 1-year deal with Indianapolis, and you don't know. Maybe this 1-year deal, maybe he's gonna have a breakout season, be a top 5 receiver, or maybe he's gonna be a bust. Because Indianapolis knows Devin Funchess is not T.Y. Hilton. Devin Funchess had a lot of drops last year, and so did Eric Ebron. And look what Colts did. They made Eric Ebron a top 5 tight end. So I don't know if this is gonna happen to Devin Funchess, but I've seen a lot of mock drafts about Colts getting another receiver in the top with their first overall pick. But personally, I don't think they get a receiver with the first overall pick, because they have a second round pick, number 4, and a second round pick from the Jets, I believe. I know it's from the Jets, but I don't know. I think it's number 4. But yeah, I think that's when Colts get a receiver. Yeah, guys, tell me what your guys' opinions are in the comments below if you guys have any opinions. Because I think Colts right now have one of the best offenses in the NFL. No doubt about that. Like, they just need one more receiver to pair up with T.Y. Hilton. Colts are Super Bowl bound. Peace.